The night was silent. Over Jerusalem, the moon shone with a pale light. On the slopes of the Mount of Olives, among the olive trees, a man was kneeling, lifted his head. On his face rested both human pain and divine sorrow. He looked up to heaven and whispered softly, "Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Yet not my will, but yours be done." That prayer echoed through the heart of the universe. The sky was silent, but the angels wept, because tonight, the fate of the world was about to change. The earth began to tremble. The olive leaves swayed with sorrow in the wind. From a distance, the glow of torches appeared. A crowd approached, the sound of armor echoing through the night, and leading them was one-faced Judas. Judas, the disciple of Jesus, the one he trusted most, had betrayed him. In that moment, one of the M10 to 6 tube, in CM10-10-10, everything fell silent. Human history was divided in two. The moment of betrayal had come. The soldiers seized Jesus. Peter drew his sword and struck a soldier, cutting off his ear. But even then, Jesus showed mercy. He touched the man's ear and healed him. "Put your sword back in its place, Peter," Jesus said, "for all who take the sword will perish by the sword." Those words would echo through the ages. Jesus was bound. His hands were tied, but he was free. That night, the plan of God began to unfold. It was midnight. In the stone streets of Jerusalem, the only sound was the marching of soldiers. They brought Jesus to the house of the high priest Caiaphas. There, the religious leaders hurled accusations at him, contradictory words, false witnesses, lies. But Jesus remained silent. "Are you the Son of God?" asked Caiaphas. Jesus lifted his eyes and said, "Yes, I am the Son of God." Silence fell, then rage erupted. "He has spoken blasphemy," they cried. They spat in his face and struck him. Yet he did not respond, because his kingdom was not of this world. As dawn broke over Jerusalem, they brought Jesus to the palace of Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor. The crowd was furious, shouting, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" Pilate looked at Jesus. In his eyes he saw no guilt, only holiness. "Are you the king of the Jews?" Pilate asked. Jesus replied, "My kingdom is not of this world." Pilate took a deep breath. "I find no fault in this man," he said. But the crowd shouted louder, "If you release him, you are no friend of Caesar." Fear silenced justice. And then came the words that would echo forever. "I am innocent of this man's blood," said Pilate. An innocent man was condemned, but that blood would become the salvation of mankind. They scourged Jesus. Every lash carved the sins of humanity into his flesh. Blood streamed down his shoulders, yet he felt no hatred, only silence. The soldiers twisted a crown of thorns and pressed it onto his head. They placed a purple robe on him and mocked, "Hail, King of the Jews!" "You're a king? Then this crown suits you well," they sneered. But even then, his eyes were not filled with pain but compassion. He forgave even his enemies. His love was greater than all pain. When the morning sun rose, the road to Golgotha was stained with blood. Jesus carried his cross on his back. He stumbled, but each time he stood again. The crowd mocked. Some wept, others cursed. Along the road stood a woman, Mary, his mother. A mother looked upon her son and wept silently. Jesus met her eyes, a gaze that became the image of eternal love. A soldier saw him fall and said he can't carry it anymore. So a man named Simon of Cyrene took the cross upon his shoulders. In that moment, humanity shared the burden of redemption. Then the time had come. The sky darkened. The birds grew silent. The soldiers crucified Jesus between two thieves. They drove nails through his hands, each nail piercing through the sins of the world. Blood touched the earth. The heavens turned black. And Jesus spoke, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." Those words echoed through eternity. One of the thieves turned to him and said, "Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom." Jesus answered, "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." The sun disappeared, the earth trembled. Jesus lifted his head one last time. His face was covered in blood, but his eyes still shone with love. And his final words were, "It is finished." At that moment, the curtain of the temple was torn in two. The wall between God and man was destroyed. Graves were opened, the heavens wept. That final breath marked the end of death itself. Darkness fell over the kingdom of evil. Even Satan wept, for death had been defeated. The wind on Golgotha stopped. A soldier pierced Jesus' side with a spear, and out flowed blood and water. In that moment, the love of God poured out upon the earth. A centurion fell to his knees and said, "Truly this man was the Son of God." Mary stood beneath the cross, weeping silently. The gates of heaven opened with her tears. They wrapped Jesus' body in white linen and laid him in a new tomb. A great stone was rolled across its entrance. Soldiers stood guard. But on the third morning, the earth shook. The stone was rolled away. Light filled the tomb. An angel appeared and said, "Why do you seek the living among the dead? He has risen." The story that ended on the cross was, in truth, a beginning. Jesus conquered darkness. He conquered death, and he saved you. Even today, the same voice whispers, "I was with you. I died for you, and I will live with you forever. I love you." If this story touched your heart, like and subscribe to J.Chanel. Because today, God spoke to you. Type Amen in the comments. Let this message reach millions.